What's up, guys, and welcome back for another solo mining episode 101. In this one, we're going to be just mining out here in the prospect, and I'm going to be just going over my overview. This is something that was requested. You guys have kind of seen me use my overview and kind of change it, and it's been evolving for many years. So I figure we'll just do kind of a rundown here. So let's go ahead and just kind of get this prospect doing some work for the most part, and we're just gonna get him to orbit this dense Veldspar here. But pretty much all of my tunes use this overview, and I utilize the method for copying UI. I did a video over it. You can look over copying UI on the channel. There's a whole video on how to kind of mirror and pixel match everything. I think it's important to have all your tunes kind of operate on the same kind of interface, so everything's where you're used to it being. This overview doesn't change too much if I'm changing from like PvE to mining. Really, the point here is I like to kind of have everything visible that's important to me. So from what you can see right now on the screen, we'll zoom out here so it's a little bit easier to see. We have the probe scan up here, so I can see just signatures and stuff like that. If I am doing a lot of anomalies, I'm doing ratting, this window, I'll unlock these windows. Well, this one's not even locked anyway, but I'll unlock both this and the D-scan, and I'll kind of make this a little bit bigger and make D-scan a little bit smaller. I like having D-scan out here to the side. It's a little skinny, just so I can see name type, and then the distance and stuff. But I do like kind of having that full length there on the side. And also I'm running a tactical overview as well with running tactical overlay with the orbit camera. And then really I just have like the inventory that's broke out right here, and have the tree out here so I can manipulate, or I can access Fleet Hangar. For many years I used to have a Fleet Hangar its own separate window on the UI, but now I just kind of access it through the tree when I need it. And then down here I have essentially this iteration of the overview is possible only because we have multiple overviews now. Back in the day, before we could do multiple overviews, this PvP tab would be in with all these other tabs, and this would probably have been like full length down to the end of the screen here. But since we can have multiple overviews, then I can have more things kind of visible at one time. So I'll go into the overview settings and we'll kind of look at how all that's set up and everything once we kind of go through it all. But essentially I have a PvP and ship tab. This overview down here will show pretty much any player, any pirate, any NPC, so I can see in drones and stuff, so I can see kind of what's on grid with me and things like that. The filter that this overview uses is the same one that D-scan uses, because you can change what filter D-scan uses and what stuff populates and shows up in there. And then up here in the normal overview I have basically an all tab, just shows everything. The mining tab will show all ores, gas, anything that's mineable, ice, things like that. The site tab I really don't use anymore. The site tab was for doing hacking and data sites. It just basically shows the nodes, so I can quickly access the nodes and warp to them and do the whole thing. The warp tab is essentially just warpable, so stargates, stations, wormholes. I pretty much have beacons on every tab anyway, because you want to see beacons that come from like Sinos or like rare ore sites. The loot tab will show wrecks and cargo and secure cargo containers. So if I'm essentially cleaning up rats, and then I end up all the loot right here, which this is actually really helpful for PvE when you're doing ratting, so you make sure you don't miss any loot and everything. You can see distances and all of that. Also, the PvP tab has velocity in addition to distance and type. That way I can see if there's other mining ships or any other ships on grid with me. I can see if they're standstill or if they're moving. And then I just have a Veld tab. This basically just shows all Veldspar, and you could actually have this, renamed as, single OR, and then you could on the fly change this tab to being whatever filter you have set up, whether it be just to show Plag or just to show Arc Nor Bistot, whatever the case may be. But like if I'm only kind of going after one type of OR, then a tab like this is very useful. And then I have all my targets that go horizontally up over through here. What you can't see, and I'm going to turn my camera off real quick. Behind here, hidden, is basically the selection window right here. And this just allows me to do warps, do orbits, things like that. And then I have the local bookmarks over here, so I can have access to all my local bookmarks. And then down here I just have a condensed view for local, corp, and any other chats that I have going on, like Alliance or whatever. If I was in nullsec, then Intel would probably be in here somewhere as well. But all this is kind of tucked away behind my camera for the most part. But with all that being said, everything else is, I don't have anything else that breaks out really. If I have like PI, then I'll have PI usually up here in this corner, so I can kind of fly around and have it accessed up there. And then I usually have like Customs Office kind of lined up down here beside it. But this is kind of what I normally kind of run with right here. But we're going to go into overview settings, kind of show you how all this is kind of put together. But like I said, I have all these tabs set up. You can set the colors of the tabs here, and then you set the filters here, and I just have show all brackets on all those. And so we'll kind of quickly go through all the things here. But obviously the all tab has everything selected in the filter window. Absolutely everything except for structure. Oh yeah, we need to put the new moon drills and forward operating bases in here. And then you just save it. Don't have to fiddle with that. But and then loot is basically just Celestial. It has cargo container, has secure cargo container and wreck on that one. And then I don't use mining anymore. Ore is just harvestable cloud. Let's go up here to the top. Has all the asteroids except for the home operations ones. And then Celestial has beacon, compressed gas, harvestable gas. The asteroids also has the ice included in there as well. And then for ships PvP, we have a little bit more going on here. So we have like diamond strongholds and engineering complexes, and then we have the Sino arrays and jammers. And then for ships, all the different types of ships here, all the different types of NPCs, fighters, all the different types of entities, and then all the types of drones, and then also deployables like Sino inhibitors, and micro jump drives, stuff like that. And then for charges, bombs, and stuff like that, so you can see kind of bombs coming at you, and then beacons and then Sino fields and all of that. And this is kind of grown as I've had needs to watch things. Then I've added stuff to this tab, and this tab, like I said, is the same thing that my DScan uses, which you go up here into the filters and you select whichever filter you want to use. And then sites is just showing beacon, and then it'll also show two entities, which are spawn container and scatter container. And then Veldspar is basically the same as ore. I basically just copied the ore filter and just unselected every asteroid except for Veldspar, and it'll show, if you have Veldspar on here, it'll show all variants. So that's how that works. And then warp is just warpable stuff. So beacon again, Stargate, Warpgate, Wormhole, and then we have POSes. Control tower is what POS is. And then down here we have stations, and then structures, which would be refineries, Sino jammers, Sino gates, or jump gates, and citadels, things like that. And then my appearance is pretty much default. I really don't do anything with the appearance, because I do bounce in between high sec and null sec quite a bit, so I try not to do anything crazy with blinking or anything like that. And it helps in like null sec for that stuff, but once you go to like high sec and everybody's a newt, then that can get pretty disco-y. And then I usually just uncheck a lot of the ship name, pilot name, corp, tracker. A lot of this stuff is just to, you know, for covert ops and stuff like that, and then everything else is pretty much how it goes. The miscellaneous tab here is where you would import and export overview. So if you look at my overview video and you follow that link to get my overview, which is pretty outdated, I probably need to update that, you can import it on this side over here. So that's how that works. But that is the down and dirty, and very simple. I try to keep everything as minimalistic as possible. I like to be able to kind of see a lot of what's going on more than just having a bunch of windows all over the place. And if I can stack stuff, then I will. If I am in a ship that has a drone, that has drones, and the drone window is actually stacked with the PvP overview, and if I'm doing like drone mining, as you've seen, I break that window out, throw it over to the side. I do like having the inventory kind of centered up, so I can kind of, you know, really kind of see at first glance where everything is. And with every alt being pixel perfect matched with all my UI, then no matter what tune I'm on, I know where things are at and all that. So that is kind of the benefit. But other than that, that's pretty much it. We're almost full on this prospect. A lot shorter video today, but I figured we'd kind of do a run through on this whole bit. I'll try to update that that overview file, and then I'll probably put that link so you can download it in the description.